Hello, my fellow animal lovers. How are you today? Before I ferry you to dreamland, if you love the content and you love animals, I encourage you to show your support by subscribing. By the way, tell us where you are in the world in the comment section. What time do you like watching our channel? I look forward to reading all your comments. Enjoy. Introduction. The forest settles. The world is quieting now. The long, bright days of summer have softened, melting into the low, golden light of autumn. A cool breeze moves through the trees, a gentle sigh that speaks of change, of a time of rest to come. It carries with it the earthy, musty scent of damp soil, of leaves returning to the ground from which they grew. This is not a sad smell. It is the smell of a great, slow exhalation, the smell of a world preparing for a deep and peaceful sleep. The vibrant green of the forest has given way to a tapestry of rust and gold. The leaves, having held the sunlight all season long, now let it go, drifting down in silent flurries. They are like soft, colorful snowflakes, swirling in the cool air before coming to rest upon the ground. They form a blanket on the forest floor, a soft bed that cradles the earth, muffling every sound. The busy chorus of summer has faded. The songs of birds have grown fewer, more distant. The hum of insects has softened to a whisper. There is a quietness now, a stillness that you can feel deep in your bones. It is a quiet that invites you to listen, to notice the small things. The gentle rustle of a leaf skittering across the path, the soft tap of an acorn falling, the sound of your own slow, steady breath. In this quiet, slowing world, a small creature is making its way across the forest floor. It is a wood frog, a quiet and solitary being. Its skin is the color of the damp earth and the fallen leaves, a gentle mottling of red and brown that allows it to blend in, to become a part of the landscape it calls home. It wears a dark, soft mask around its eyes, like a shadow. It moves with a calm purpose, not with hurry, but with a deep and ancient knowing. It is not looking for a place to hide from the coming cold. It is looking for a place to receive it. It is looking for a place to rest. This small frog carries within it a secret, a quiet miracle that allows it to do what almost no other creature of its kind can do. It will not burrow deep into the warm mud at the bottom of a pond. It will not seek shelter from the frost. It will welcome the cold. It will let the winter take it into a sleep, so deep it looks like stillness itself. It will surrender to the season, trusting in the rhythm of the world, trusting in the promise of a gentle awakening. The air grows cooler, the light grows softer. The world is letting go. The geese have flown south, their calls a fading memory on the wind. The trees have released their leaves, their bare branches reaching up like fingers into the pale sky. Everything is preparing for the great quiet, and the little frog, a small, still heart in the heart of the forest, is also preparing. It is searching for the perfect place to begin its long, frozen sleep. A place to lie down and let the winter cradle it, a place to wait in perfect peace for the return of the sun. The forest breathes in a cool, slow breath, and it breathes out a sigh of leaves and damp earth. And in this gentle rhythm, all things find their place, all things settle, all things prepare for the deep and dreamless peace of winter. Chapter 1. A Bed of Leaves. The little frog moves through a world of soft light and long shadows. The sun, now lower in the sky, casts a golden glow that makes the forest feel magical, ancient, and calm. Every fallen leaf, every piece of moss, every stone is outlined in this gentle light. The frog is not in a hurry. It is a solitary creature, at home in the quiet of its own company. It feels the cool, damp air on its skin, a sign that the time for rest is near. It moves across the forest floor, a place that is not empty, but teeming with a secret, silent life. This is where the forest begins again. The thick carpet of fallen leaves, the duff, is not just debris, it is the food that fuels this quiet world. Beneath this blanket, a hidden kingdom is at work. White, thread-like fingers of fungi, called hyphae, spread through the decaying wood and leaves, breaking them down, returning their goodness to the soil. These fungi are the great recyclers, the silent alchemists of the forest, turning what has fallen into what can grow again. The soil is alive with tiny creatures, with the slow and patient work of transformation. It is a world of rest and renewal, a place where everything is gently becoming something else. The frog is looking for its place within this world. Unlike other frogs that seek the deep, insulating mud at the bottom of a pond or lake, the wood frog stays on the land. It knows a different secret. It understands a different rhythm. It seeks out a shallow hollow in the earth, a simple depression on the forest floor, barely hidden from the sky. It finds a place where the leaves have gathered, a soft and quiet spot nestled amongst the roots of a great tree. Here it settles. It tucks itself into the cool earth, letting the fallen leaves form a light blanket over its back. This blanket of leaves, and the layer of snow that will soon follow, offer very little protection from the freezing cold to come. The frog will not be insulated from the winter. It will be embraced by it. This choice, which seems so vulnerable, is an act of profound and ancient wisdom. The frog knows that the land thaws more quickly than the deep, ice-covered water of the ponds. By staying here on the surface, it will be one of the very first creatures to awaken in the spring. It will be ready to greet the new world, to find the temporary pools of meltwater where it will lay its eggs, long before the other frogs have even begun to stir from their deep, watery sleep. So its vulnerability is its strength. Its surrender to the cold is its advantage. It is a quiet agreement made with the seasons, a deep trust in the cycles of the earth. It does not fight the coming winter. It makes a place for it. It hunkers down in its shallow bed, a small, still body in the rust-colored leaves. It feels the coolness of the earth beneath it, the soft weight of the leaves above it. The air is still. The world is waiting. The frog has found its hibernaculum, its place of winter rest, and now it too will wait. It will wait for the first touch of ice, the signal that it is time to begin its incredible journey into a sleep of crystal and stillness. It closes its eyes. The forest grows darker. The world grows quieter, and the little frog, nestled in its bed of leaves, begins to let go. The forest floor is a cradle. It holds the seeds of future trees, the spores of silent fungi, and now it holds the small, still body of the frog. It is a place of immense patience, a place of deep, slow, quiet transformation, and the frog is now a part of it. It is a small brown jewel, resting on a bed of autumn gold, waiting for the first whisper of winter's breath. The world around it settles into a deep hush, and the frog settles with it, surrendering to the profound peace of the forest floor. Chapter 2. The First Whisper of Ice. The days grow shorter, the nights grow longer and colder. A new scent is in the air, a clean, sharp crispness that signals the coming of the frost. The dampness on the leaves begins to stiffen. The puddles in the forest path wear a thin, glassy skin in the early morning. Winter is no longer a distant promise. It is a presence, drawing nearer with each passing hour. The little frog rests in its shallow burrow, still and quiet. It is a part of the earth now, its body temperature the same as the cool soil around it. It does not shiver. It does not resist. It simply waits. It is waiting for a very specific signal, a touch that will awaken a deep and ancient magic within its own body. And then it comes. Perhaps it is a single, perfect snowflake that drifts down through the bare branches, and lands upon its skin. Or perhaps it is the air itself, growing so cold that the moisture on the frog's back crystallizes into a delicate feathery pattern of frost. The first touch of ice. It is a whisper, a gentle but clear command. This is the trigger. This is the moment the frog has been waiting for. Instantly, a silent message travels through the frog's body, faster than thought. It is a signal sent from the skin to the brain, and from the brain to a special organ that has been preparing for this moment all summer long, the liver. All through the warm, sunny months, as the frog ate insects and spiders, its liver was diligently storing the energy from that food, packing it away in the form of a complex sugar called glycogen. The liver is like a pantry, filled with the preserved sweetness of summer, the memory of sunlight and warmth. Now, with the touch of ice, the pantry door is thrown open. The liver begins a remarkable act of alchemy. It takes the stored glycogen and quickly, wonderfully transforms it into a flood of simple glucose, a pure sweet sugar. This glucose is released into the frog's bloodstream, a thick, syrupy river of life-preserving sweetness. This sweet river flows to every corner of the frog's body. It is pumped by the heart into every vessel, every organ, every muscle. It seeps into every single cell, from the tips of its toes to the very lens of its eye. It is an elixir of patience, a liquid blanket of protection that prepares the frog for the great freeze to come. But this is not the only ingredient in the frog's magical potion. At the same time, another change is happening. The frog stops releasing its urine. Instead, it holds it within its body, allowing a substance called urea to build up in its blood. This urea, which is normally a waste product, now becomes a vital ally. It is a second cryoprotectant, a salty secret that works with the sweet glucose to perform a miracle. Together, the sugar and the urea create a powerful natural antifreeze. This syrupy solution fills the frog's cells, changing the very nature of the water within them. It makes the fluid inside the cells thick and slow, like honey. It is a potion brewed from the memory of summer and the wisdom of winter. The frog, resting in its bed of leaves, is now a tiny, living vessel of this sweet, protective elixir. It has transformed itself from the inside out. It has answered the whisper of ice with its own quiet magic. It has taken the warmth of the past and spun it into a shield against the cold of the future. The world outside may be freezing, but inside each of its cells, a sweet river flows, a gentle current of patience and protection. The frog is ready. It has let go of the world of warmth and movement. It is ready to enter the crystal sleep. Chapter 3. The Crystal Sleep. The cold deepens. It sinks from the air into the earth, through the blanket of leaves, and into the shallow hollow where the frog rests. The time for preparation is over. The time for transformation has come. The frog's body, now filled with its sweet protective syrup, begins to orchestrate its own freezing. This is not a violent or chaotic event. It is a slow, deliberate, and beautiful process, a kind of quiet, crystalline architecture. The freeze begins from the outside and moves inward, a slow cascade of ice. It starts on the skin, where special proteins in the frog's blood act as guides, encouraging the first ice crystals to form there, in the safest possible place. These are called nucleating proteins, and they are like tiny conductors, telling the ice exactly where to grow. The ice does not invade the frog's cells. That would be deadly. Instead, it blooms in the spaces between things. A delicate, shimmering lattice of ice forms in the fluid just beneath the skin. Sheets of frost grow between the layers of muscle, encasing them in a cool, white embrace. The water in the frog's abdominal cavity, the space around its internal organs, slowly turns to solid ice, cradling the heart, the lungs, and the liver in a frozen protective casing. As this external ice garden grows, it gently pulls water out of the frog's cells, causing them to shrink and dehydrate. But inside the cells, the thick, syrupy mixture of glucose and urea holds firm. It is too sweet, too dense to freeze. It protects the delicate machinery of the cell from being torn apart by sharp ice crystals. So a strange and wonderful state is achieved. The world outside the cells is frozen solid, while the world inside them remains a thick, protected, liquid jewel. The frog's body slowly surrenders to the ice. Its skin becomes hard and cold to the touch. Its limbs become stiff and unmoving. Even its eyes turn a milky white, as the very lenses within them freeze solid. The frog is becoming a sculpture of itself, a perfect frozen statue. And as the ice spreads, the signs of life gently fade away. The frog's breathing, which had been slow, now ceases altogether. Its lungs are still. The slow, steady beat of its heart falters, slows, and then, with a final quiet pulse, it stops. The river of blood no longer flows. The brain, which had been sending its quiet signals, falls silent. All measurable activity ceases. To the outside world, the frog is gone. It is a lump of hard, frigid, icy stone, carved in the shape of a frog. It feels like a block of ice, a solid, unyielding part of the frozen earth. 65 to 70% of the water in its body has turned to solid ice. It is a frog sickle, a crystal creature sleeping in a bed of frozen leaves. But it is not dead. It is in a state of profound and perfect preservation. It is being held. The very ice that has filled its body is now its shield. The cold that could have ended its life has instead become its protector. The frog has built a palace of ice around its sleeping core, a fortress of stillness where it can wait out the long, dark winter. It has entered the crystal sleep, a sleep deeper than any dream, a quietness beyond all sound. It is a small frozen jewel in the heart of the winter forest, holding the secret of life within a shell of beautiful silent ice. The world is frozen, and the frog is now one with the frost, one with the stone, one with the deep and patient stillness of the earth. Chapter 4. The Stillness of Winter. The world is now held in the grip of winter. The forest is a place of deep silence, blanketed in snow. The trees stand like pale skeletons against a gray sky, their branches heavy with frost. The wind that blows through them is sharp and clean, carrying no scent but the cold itself. Sound travels differently here. In the dense, cold air, a distant sound, like the snap of a twig, can seem startlingly close, but mostly there is just a profound and endless quiet. It is a silence that feels ancient, a stillness that seems to have existed forever, and in its shallow bed of frozen leaves, beneath the insulating snow, the little frog is part of this great stillness. It is in a state of suspended animation, a pause so deep it is almost outside of time itself. This is not sleep as we know it. Sleep is a time for the mind to wander, to dream, to process the day. But the frog's brain is silent. There are no dreams here. There are no thoughts. There is no awareness of the passing days and nights. For the frog, time has stopped. It does not feel the cold. It does not feel the weight of the snow above. It does not know that the moon is waxing and waning, that the stars are wheeling across the winter sky. It is in a state of pure being, without sensation, without thought, without the need for anything. From its perspective, it is as if it blinks its eyes, and in that single timeless instant, the entire winter will pass. This state of being can last for many, many months. In the far north, in places like Alaska, a wood frog can remain frozen solid for 7 or even 8 months of the year, enduring temperatures that would seem impossible for life to withstand. It is a living creature transformed into an object, a piece of the frozen landscape. It is as hard and cold as a stone, a small icy sculpture that holds a secret spark of life deep within its frozen core. This is the ultimate form of letting go. It is a release from the constant effort of being alive. The heart does not need to beat, the lungs do not need to breathe, the mind does not need to think. The frog has surrendered everything, and in that surrender, it has found perfect safety. It is held in a state of grace, a dreamless peace that is absolute and complete. The philosophers and poets have tried to imagine such a state. They speak of it as a trance, a place stranded between the time that is gone and the time that is yet to come. It is a release from the parade of bright windows thought opens, a state of seamless, unbroken presence. It is the quiet at the heart of the storm, the stillness at the center of the turning world. The winter wears on, storms may rage, piling the snow deeper, the wind may howl through the bare trees, but none of it touches the little frog. It is in its own world, a world of perfect silence and cold. It is not waiting for spring. Waiting implies an awareness of time, a longing for the future. The frog has no future. It has no past. It has only this single, eternal moment of stillness. This is the great quiet, the winter's sopper, its necessary healing sleep. The earth itself is resting, and the frog is resting with it. It has become one with the stillness of the universe, a small frozen promise of life, held safely in the heart of winter, waiting for a signal that it cannot hear, a warmth that it cannot feel, to call it back from the edge of time. It is a perfect, dreamless peace, a long, slow breath held for an entire season. Chapter 5: The Memory of Water. The days, which had been so short and gray, begin to hold the light for a little longer each evening. A new quality enters the air. The sun, which had been a distant, watery disk in the sky, now feels a little warmer on the skin. Deep beneath the snow, the frozen earth feels this subtle shift. A change is coming. The long, deep sleep of winter is nearing its end. The thaw does not begin as a flood, but as a whisper. It is a secret stirring, a slow and gentle magic that begins deep inside the frozen body of the frog. It is not the outer world that melts first. The miracle of reanimation starts from the very core. Inside the frog's still and silent cells, the thick syrupy fluid of glucose and urea has stood guard all winter long. The organs that received the most of this sweet elixir, the heart, the liver, the brain, are the first to feel the faint, returning warmth. The high concentration of sugar lowers the melting point of the water within them, allowing them to thaw while the rest of the body is still encased in ice. And then, in the absolute center of the stillness, the first miracle occurs. The heart, which has been silent for months, gives a single soft flutter, a tiny, almost imperceptible beat. What causes this first beat is a mystery that even science does not yet understand. It is a secret that the frog holds within itself. It is as if the heart remembers its own rhythm, its own song. It is a single drumbeat in the center of the silence, a spark of life rekindled in the frozen dark. Another beat follows, and another, slow and steady, and with each beat, the river of blood begins to flow again. It is a slow, warm current, carrying the first stirrings of life and oxygen through the frozen vessels. It is a river remembering its ancient path, flowing from the heart outwards. This warm, flowing blood is what melts the rest of the frog's body. It is a gentle, internal thaw. The ice that encases the organs begins to soften and turn to water. The brain, bathed in this returning warmth, begins to stir from its long silence. The ice in the lenses of the eyes melts away, and the milky whiteness recedes. The sounds of the thaw are quiet and slow. Imagine the sound of a single drop of water falling in a vast, silent cave. drip, a long pause, then another, drip. This is the sound of the frog's world returning. The hard crystalline structure of the ice is softening, letting go, becoming fluid once more. The sharp crackle of frost is replaced by the soft, trickling sound of meltwater. The process is a perfect, gentle cascade, an unwinding of the spell of winter. It is a reversal of the freeze, happening in the safest, most logical order. First the heart, to move the warmth, then the brain, to guide the body, then the rest of the systems waking in their own time. It is a testament to the deep innate wisdom of the body, a resilience that is almost beyond comprehension. The frog is still unmoving, still encased in a partial shell of ice, but inside, life is returning. The memory of water is flowing through its veins. The memory of breath is stirring in its lungs. The memory of life itself is reawakening in every cell. It is a slow, sacred, and secret process, a gentle journey back from the edge of stillness, guided by an inner wisdom as old as the seasons themselves. The heart beats, the blood flows. The great thaw has begun. Chapter 6: The Gentle Return. The slow internal river of warmth continues its journey, reaching every part of the frog's body. The ice that had formed a hard shell between skin and muscle now dissolves into cool, clean water. The limbs, once as rigid as stone, begin to soften and become pliable again. The frog is no longer a frozen sculpture. It is becoming a living creature once more. This is a time of gentle restoration, of everything returning to its proper place. The cells, which had been shrunken and dehydrated all winter, now drink in the returning water. They plump up, regaining their soft, round shape. The syrupy, sweet fluid that protected them is slowly diluted, having served its purpose perfectly. The intricate machinery within each cell, which had been paused in a state of perfect preservation, now quietly hums back to life. The body is remembering how to be a body. After the heart and the brain have reawakened, the lungs follow. They take their first slow breath of the new damp spring air. It is an air rich with the smell of thawing earth and wet leaves, the scent of life returning to the world. The frog breathes in, and the cycle of breath, which had been suspended for so long, begins again, a slow, steady rhythm of in and out, connecting the frog's inner world with the world outside. Finally, movement returns. A toe twitches, a leg flexes. The frog, which had been completely inert, now begins to stir within its leafy bed. The entire process of thawing and returning to full activity takes about a day, a slow and unhurried re-entry into the world of the living. There is no sudden shock, no jarring awakening. It is a gradual, graceful unfolding, like a flower opening its petals to the morning sun. And when the frog is fully thawed, it is completely whole. It is undamaged. The miracle of its inner alchemy has been a perfect success. The delicate lattice of ice was built so carefully that no cell was ruptured, no tissue was torn. The deep cold did not harm it, it preserved it. The frog that awakens is the very same frog that fell asleep in the autumn, and it remembers. The brain, now active again, holds the memories of its past life. It remembers the location of the pond where it was born, the place it must now return to. This journey, which it makes every spring, is guided by a map held safely in its mind, a map that even the deep freeze of winter could not erase. The stillness did not break the thread of its identity. It is a profound and comforting thought, that even after the deepest, most absolute rest, we can return to ourselves, whole and complete. The frog is now soft and alive, resting in the damp, cool hollow of its winter bed. It is surrounded by the trickling sounds of meltwater and the earthy smell of the thawing forest. It has journeyed to the very edge of life and returned. It has been a creature of ice and stillness, and now it is a creature of flesh and breath. It has completed its long, silent vigil. It has kept its quiet promise with the winter. And now the spring is calling, and the frog is ready to answer. It is ready to rejoin the gentle, waking world. Chapter 7. The Scent of Spring. The frog pushes itself up from its damp bed of leaves. The world it awakens to is soft, wet, and alive with gentle sound and scent. The long silence of winter is over, replaced by a chorus of quiet beginnings. This is the world of early spring, a world of renewal and promise. The air itself is different. It is thick with the smell of the thawing earth, a fragrance so rich and fresh it feels like you could drink it in. This scent has a name, petrichor. It is the perfume of the soil itself, released by tiny bacteria that have been sleeping all winter and are now awakening in the damp, warming ground. It is the smell of life returning, the earth breathing out a long, sweet sigh after its deep rest. It is mixed with the scent of wet bark, of new buds, and the faint, musky aroma of the first wild flowers. The sounds of the forest have returned. From the canopy above, the first birds are singing. The clear two-note call of the chiff-chaff, 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 is a telltale sign that spring has arrived. Soon, this will grow into the full dawn chorus, a symphony of birdsong celebrating the new day and the new season. The low, gentle hum of the first queen bumblebees can be heard as they emerge from their own hibernation, searching for the nectar of the earliest flowers. And everywhere there is the sound of water, the soft drip from icicles melting on branches, the quiet trickle of meltwater streams finding their way across the forest floor. The world is dripping, flowing, and moving once more. The forest floor is a carpet of new life. The first flowers are pushing up through the damp leaves. Wood anemones, with their delicate white petals, create a sea of tiny stars on the ground, their heads turning to follow the slow path of the sun. The leaves on the trees are beginning to emerge, tiny and green, from the buds that have been dormant all winter. The world is slowly, gently, dressing itself in green again. The little frog takes all of this in. It is not just an observer of this awakening, it is a part of it. Its own journey from ice to life is a mirror of the forest journey from winter to spring. Now it feels an ancient pull, a deep instinct to move towards water. It begins its journey, hopping through the damp leaves, its soft body making almost no sound. It is heading for a vernal pool, a temporary pond formed by the melting snow in spring rains. Because it woke so early, it will be one of the first frogs to arrive. Soon its own voice, a funny clucking sound, like a quacking duck, will join the growing chorus of the spring. It will find a mate, and they will leave their own promise of new life in the cool, clear water, a cluster of jelly-like eggs that hold the future. The frog has completed its cycle. It has embraced the stillness of winter and has been rewarded with the first best moments of the spring. It has trusted the rhythm of the world, and the world has been faithful to it. The sun filters through the bare branches, dappling the forest floor in soft light. A gentle breeze stirs the new leaves. The sound of trickling water is everywhere. The air smells of damp earth and new beginnings. The little frog, a small, quiet hero of resilience, disappears into the green and brown tapestry of the waking woods, its journey complete, its purpose fulfilled. The forest continues to breathe its slow, gentle rhythm. The sounds of spring grow a little fuller. The world is soft and quiet and at peace, and you can rest here in this gentle, waking world. You can let the soft sounds of the forest cradle you, the dripping water, the distant bird song, the whisper of the wind. There is nothing more to do. There is nowhere else to be. Just rest, just sleep,